Good old Boston, Massachusetts, the heart of New England. This city is known for many things: history, education, wicked awesome sports teams, incredibly calm drivers, and baked beans. But in society today, many cities are represented by the look of their people. So what about Boston's fashion and style?
Well, you want to pick out the ones that can't dress?
In an article written by GQ magazine, Boston was named the worst dressed city in America.
This makes me so sad. This is amazing. Who wrote this? This is amazing.
In the article, it read, "Boston is like America's bad taste storm sewer. All the worst fashion ideas from across the country flow there, stagnate, and putrefy." To be fair, it's hard to be a fashion capital when half of your population is made up of undergraduate hoodie monsters, including those unfortunate co-eds who don't realize that leggings as pants were supposed to be paired with tops large enough to conceal their camel toes. Yet, when they graduate, they can wear their Uggs and still fit in at the country's largest frat party on Lansdowne behind Fenway, where they can take breaks between body shots to admire just how long bootcut jeans can stay in style in one place. And any classy lady from Beantown is bound to be impressed by formal sportswear. For the more proletarian-minded, there are the modest little burgs of Cambridge and Somerville, where everyone dresses like the proprietor of his or her very own meth lab. If you wonder how a people can live like this, well, it's Jurassic Park for fashion troglodytes. Life finds a way.
In regards to what he's talking about, leggings as pants, like, don't even get me started. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like a reaction to a kind of formality that is Boston, in that they want to be very informal.
You can't mix and match colors, you know?
I mean, you just walk along Comm Ave and every single girl has leggings as pants, so you can see her, you know what, and Uggs, or like pirate boots, and some, horrible fleece contraption.
If you look good in what you're wearing, I consider you stylish.
So in style, generally, I think, is different from fashion in that it's a little bit more personal, I think.
So you think women should always be dressed up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makeup and everything?
Yeah. It makes. When you look at a girl that looks like an unmade bed, you don't even want to look at it. Just move along. There's nothing to see here.
I mean, take the time to make yourself pretty or what have you. Yes, men like us like that, but it's not necessary for everyone.
I think I worry more about comfort than style, which is, I think, the case in Boston a lot, which is why they're the worst dressed, I think.
There is a hyper informality to it, which is very weird because the industry in Boston is very much based on the institutions in Boston, like schools and like the tourist industry and stuff.
Okay, so the students are a huge part of, not the problem, but they're a huge part of the issue of at least that article. And then when I started thinking about the question, students tend to dress both for budget and comfort. So of course they're going to wear, leggings are comfortable. I just discovered leggings. I actually wore them in public once and I felt bad the entire time, but I had my bits covered. And I think that's something that the girls forget. They want to look sexy, and I know certainly guys like seeing them in their yoga pants, but it's really not, it's not high fashion by any means. And so in that way, they're definitely taking Boston fashion down a notch.
I don't agree with worst dress. I think people in Boston are dressed very well. I think when I moved to Boston, I started dressing a lot better, so. I think it's very sort of street style. So, like, a lot of people are very sort of trendy, which I guess, I don't know how you would describe that, but it's a very sort of street style. People pick stuff up from, like, magazines and things like that. I don't know.
I do have a blog. My obsession is street style, so I was actually getting paid to do that for a while. for Patch, and that was really fun. But it was so hard to find people to take pictures of, because I was really, partially it was because I was particular, and partially it was because it was in Boston. Every time I went out, I kept thinking if I were in New York, I would have found 10 people to like talk to and take pictures of for my piece. But it was really hard to find people I thought were, you know, fashionable in Boston enough to want to write like a small piece on them, you know, and interview them, do like a mini interview. So it was hard. For instance, we're filming in Beacon Hill. I mean, this is another area, it's very old, you know, Brahmin, you know, very yuppie, very traditional, you know, very old school, and so everyone's dressed very conservatively, and that's another huge enclave of Boston. It's all the conservative pockets, you know. They only have that like smattering of like Cambridge, Somerville, JP, where people sort of like dress and think outside the box a little more. I think people should care. I think it's a huge part of you know, first impressions. I mean, it's one of the first things you notice about someone. You notice their stature, and you notice how they, you know, basically like how they carry themselves, and then you notice what they're wearing. And it says a lot about the person's like taste, interests, desires, their line of work, you know, their favorite things, whether it be color or texture. You know, I think it's important. I don't think people need to be dressed head to toe in Chanel. I don't think people need to not wear leggings as pants if they so choose, but I think there should be an element of presenting yourself for the world. I heard in a recent, from a trailer from a documentary that a friend of mine is making, that this woman said that we should dress for the theater of our life, and I just think that's so perfect. And maybe your theater is, you know, leggings, and maybe my theater is dressing like, I basically have the style of like a 5-year-old meets a grandma on acid, and you know, and that's perfectly fine too. It's sort of like whatever your theater is.
But I just think Boston just has this thing where they're like, I'm gonna do whatever I want type of thing. I don't know.
So do you see fashion taking off in Boston like New York or LA? Do you ever see it transitioning into something?
My gut says no. Just my immediate reaction is no.
I don't know if Boston is a fashion hub where things are being created and on the same level as they are in New York and LA.
I think those places are sort of like magnets for that sort of thing, and they repopulate and just sort of stay, you know, they stay as like their own little universes. I just think Boston is probably always going to be on the conservative side, you know, people wearing sports clothes, people wearing like student clothes. I don't see it ever really like taking off in that same way, because really if there's someone here that's interested in fashion, more than likely they're going to move to LA or move to New York, and that it's just magnets, you know, that's just what's going to happen. You never know. But, I mean, I really want to move to one of those places, and because styling is really hard to do here. And perhaps I will, but in the meantime, I'm just going to be that crazy lady in the subway with the purple necklace.
So I guess Boston is known for their fashion and style. Maybe not in the best way, but hey, we're on the map somewhere. I think Boston has a lot to work on, but there are a lot of circumstantial things that get in the way, like our weather. Bostonians have to deal with rain, snow, leaves. But I guess the only thing we can do is hope that our style develops into something more fashionable and trendy.
When you see a girl that's really dressed up sharp, you're like talking to them, yeah, you know, you're a good-looking girl too, that's why I'm talking to you. You went to Barbizon too when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did.
Were you sleeping in the class?
No. Are you seriously telling me I'm not dressed nicely?
No, but I'm just saying, you know, you were telling me that, you know, I hope you do the makeup, you gotta throw some powder on you. All right, let's look for another one. I want to see some lipstick on you.
All right. Next time.
Yeah,
I'll be prepared for you.
I'll give you like all 9s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lipstick and a little rouge, you know.
And a little rouge.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to this tutorial, inspired by my good friend, the MBTA worker whose name is still unknown. Ladies, No one wants to look at your bare face. So let me share with you what he told me. First, you need some rouge. You just apply it in a circular motion. Because, you know, your cheeks have to be rosy. It's important that you have rosy cheeks at all times. Because no man is going to want to look at you if you don't have rosy cheeks. Okay? Next, we need to apply some lipstick. Now, the more lipstick you have on, the better. And the bigger you make your lips, the better. And there you have it, ladies. Some simple steps to make yourself look beautiful. Inspired by the MBTA man, who clearly knows what makeup should look like on a woman and what a woman should look like at all times.